Great Rising. Major Melanin Gardening Club. Great Rising. Blazers. We have so many updates this morning. It's getting real. The garden's going to need us. We are gardeners. Oh, I started something really cool. Oh, we do have an update on the time as well. Peppers are doing pretty good. We're moving along in the world. Oh, look at these fabulous penguin peppers. They've germinated very, very lushly. I'll show you all again. Oh, let's see how our progress is happening up here. What's going on? It's a little dry up there. No new growth on that thing up there. Let's see what we got going on over there. Oh, we got a lot of tomatoes and those collard greens. Little mugwort. Some cilantro is totally germinating. Ooh, look at that germination on that cilantro. Damn. But I can't wait to share with you what I tried. I'll start at 10. I like this song. All right, we got about 1 minute. Let's see. About the participants. All right, so, oh, this song is called Lemongrass. I just planted some. So let's turn that. Let's see. Lemongrass sounds cool. So you know that your plants love music, right? They love the vibrations of sounds of the universe. Did you know that the sun actually makes noises? Like, it has a rhythm, it has a song, it sings itself, along with all the other planets, along with Earth, kind of like your heartbeat, how your blood is flowing through your organs, and you know how your body is working, it's making music. This is the same with the plants, and they love interaction. They love to be touched. They love to hear things. They love to hear, I love you, thank you, all the things that you like to hear, that living people like to hear. So do plants. Well, that was a great song by Lemongrass, and I will go ahead and turn that off so that we can get started in our wonderful lesson today. I'm Darcia Houston, better known as Major Melanin, and I have a video for you. I'm going to share my screen first, and then we will get started. This is my intro. Gotta figure it out. All right, screen share. And oh, it said it stopped. Okay, all right, everyone. It is me again. I hope you enjoyed my intro. That is something I'll be using for everything on my website, all of my new information. I have a new cocoa core video that I am at home making soil, but showing people step by step how I prepare the cocoa core and add it to my soil mixes. But we have to start with updates today. Everyone, boys and girls across the world, we are fabulously transplanted and eating off of. I've been able to eat these onions twice now, and they were from the grocery store. I bought 2 bunches for $1, and I've already eaten twice. So next week, I'll be able to harvest again, and I will have more onions. But the thyme is so perky. It is in love with its friends. They are all thriving. So that is really cool. Now, remember we had to put collards over here because the celery didn't do well, right? I had buried the celery a little too deep. It got too wet. It got molded and it was nasty. So I took it out of here and I replaced it. So this is our update for thyme and its friends, onion and collard. Now, let's go on over here to see our update because you remember we planted tomatoes last time. That wasn't our major thing, meaning we had some pepper seeds too, but we definitely planted tomatoes 2 ways. You planted 1 way. I hope you all went and got a tomato and actually planted a tomato as I did from the actual tomato. We're gonna do it again today, so don't worry if you missed it. But what we did last week was we were learning to grow in a whole new medium, right? Because you can grow in compost, you can grow in soil, you can grow in cocoa core, you can grow in water. We know those things. But we used last week a sponge to plant some seeds in. And the germination rate, oh, there was a lot of water in here. Oh, it's a name. But the majority of the time, I kept it in the egg crate that I put it in initially, and I had this on the outside so that the egg crate wouldn't get extremely wet. But that wasn't working for me. It didn't stay moist at the top. It was just staying moist at the bottom. So that was trial and error on my part. But I did get germination. Let's see. Uh-oh, look at all that water falling down. Oh, you might not be able to see it. So I might have to take a picture of the germination. Let me squeeze this out real fast so I can get it closer to you. I'll bring this over there. So hopefully the camera might, oh, there it goes. You can see it. So I had germination. I had 2, only 2. These were the closest ones that were to the window. So how I had it set, these 2 were the ones that got the sunlight first. So I'm assuming these 2 back here, I can see germination on one of them, but the other one, no. So 3 germinated. 1 is really growing. Another one is trying. This one's kind of stagnant. This one did nothing. So this method was not the best method, in my opinion, for growing tomatoes. Now, not to say that it's not working, because what's going to happen now, I'm going to cut this sponge. And I really don't even want this bottom part, you know? It's like, it's got too much going on. You know, I don't need to clean nothing at the same time. So, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to see how this situation is going to continue to grow. So we will check on this next week. We will put that to the side. Let me put it in the window. And then, okay, so update on some good old collard greens. They're still doing fabulously. I'm going to be able to record from my phone. And it does say recording, Miss Trina. So we're just going to pop this one over there after, and let's get started. But I definitely am so excited to see all of you wonderful gardeners. Great rising, Blazers. How are you all doing? Everybody wave. Awesome. I'm so excited to see you. And if you could, while Ms. Darcia gets situated, can you type your name in the chat for me? If you are here, please type your name in the chat, and I'm going to get resituated so I can show you all my new intro and everything I was doing on the last video. I'm going to share my screen while you all type in your names. Thank you. Okay. And I don't want to start it yet. So I appreciate you all's patience this morning. And let's find a way to share this wonderful screen. Okay, and that other video, they say it's converting. So hopefully. Did anybody get any germination with their what is it called? Sponges? No germination. No. Oh, wow. I had some germination. I'm going to show you all here shortly. Okay, now I'm in a situation to where I can share my screen. It's just going to be for 30 seconds. And here we go. Well, thank you all. It is me, Darcia Houston, better known as Major Melanin, again with you all. And last week, we talked about growing in different mediums, such as growing in soil, growing in cocoa coir, and also we grew in a sponge. We learned that not too many of us had success, but Miss Darcia did, and it wasn't the greatest though. So let me definitely show you what I did on the other Zoom that I thought I was talking to you all on. I actually cut the sponge. I had it whole, and I'll show you why, but let me bring it close to you so you can see my germination. I had one that really tried, another one that, you know, it started, but the sun, the water retention at the bottom of the sponge, this was holding all of the water. So I really didn't get a lot of water to this particular sponge. The other two didn't really do anything. They kind of, you know, one of them just is a seed and the other one I can see is trying, but this was not the best medium at all to grow. But if you were just, you know, if you were just hungry and just out with nothing, this is a way to try, but it's not the sustainable way, right? It is not the way to grow. So what I did, because I am going to continue this project, I'm going to put some nutrients, some soil at the bottom and see if it'll suck it up and if it will actually, you know, grow better. So I took those two. I took that sponge and I kind of cut the bottom. I'm not asking you to do this right now. Just see if, you know, another option to see if you can get more water, if you can help the plant. But if you can't, don't worry about it. We're just learning how to grow in different things. So remember, let's see what's going on with our time. in this bowl. I'm gonna have to do something. It looks like it's eroded. It doesn't look like it is breathing that well. They look really suffocated. And the cocoa core palette had shifted. I don't know if you can see that. So this is not the best option, but because either you have to go out of town or you're not going to be able to water, something is going on, you might want to use this, but it's not the best. Let's put that back in the window and get it out of our way.
Hey, Darcy, we did get some germination on the spine.
Ooh, let's see.
You have to, it's all the way through.
Okay.
But you have to go.
Oh, I do see. Yes. You did it. Look at you, gardeners. Say it again.
Yeah, that one started also.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, what I was doing is like every couple of days,
Uh-huh.
take the container.
Uh-huh.
I would take the container and just do that a couple times.
Got you.
Just to make sure.
Right. Moist. Definitely. And if you all didn't have a container and you're brand new, you could totally use a plastic bag like Miss Darcy just had, that Ziploc bag. But that container is fabulous for creating the greenhouse, protecting the seed. Almost like, you know, a mom having a baby. The baby's in the stomach is just protected, you know, and it's incubated. It's really getting all the nutrients. That's kind of helping maintain that. And then you remember I cut up that tomato. Remember I had some store-bought tomatoes right here. Then I cut that tomato and I put it in a pot, which is another growing medium. But whoop, whoop, look at that. Look at there. Look at all that little old germination. Just really fast. And I didn't even have it by the window. So I messed up. And you know, you gotta make sure to give your plants light, at the least light, water, air. But I had planted with you all and I literally left it here and didn't put it in the window and it still germinated. The problem is because it wasn't in direct sun, they're really, really long and stringy. So that's what you don't want. You want to plant your plants and you want them to have access to the environment that they need. And tomatoes need sun, but it's cold out. They don't even really like the cold. So I have to put a heater over here so I can keep them warm too. You know, just like a baby. You know, if that baby gets cold, it's gonna be crying and crying, and somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, please help somebody!" You know, get the baby something. Get the baby what the baby needs. So we talked about growing in different ways. I do have another way I wanted to show you what I did. I planted a whole bunch of tomato seeds out of that one tomato in paper towel. So you see all of those tomato seeds all out of the tomato. And this is just part of the tomato. All of these seeds I'm about to show you is from one tomato. And each seed can make one plant, correct? So one tomato gives you all of these seeds. Look at that. One tomato, you guys. I have so many napkins. I have so many seeds for us. You can do the same thing. You can have a tomato garden. There was a lady that wrote a book. She's a Black farmer. And no, that's not the story. It's a mortgager tomato. This one man, he needed money to help pay for his house, his car, his kids. You know, he was trying to get it together. So he said, I'm going to grow tomatoes. I'm only going to grow tomatoes and I'm just going to sell tomatoes. I think he would have like 300 plants already because we're still not even done. You don't even have to squeeze the seeds. You can actually just cut the tomato as well. And then you can still see that the seeds are intact. So this is a tomato slice, and I just put it in a paper towel. So how did Miss Darcia do that? Miss Darcia took the tomato just like I did last time. Well, this knife is a little on the dull side, everybody. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna cut it. And what I did initially
is I just squeeze. That whole piece came right on out. So I have all of these seeds right now. And these seeds are what gave us those tomatoes. But we talked about fertilization because right now in your care, you have a container. Mr. Brad is using his container for an incubator, but that container also could be grown in. So you could take the compost that you have in a bag. You should still have some compost in a bag. And you have a black tray. And the tray has a lid with it. And that is a different type of growing medium, as we talked about, very similar to the greenhouse. We are going to protect the seeds that we put in. And you also have some pepper seeds with you all. So at this moment, I would like you to take the compost and put the compost in your black tray. Now, this is a different growing medium than you've known before. I've given you cocoa coir. You've had the sponge. You know what it's like to grow in potting mix, but this is just compost. It is not soil. Does anybody know what the difference between compost and soil? No? If you don't, well, compost is definitely all of the organic matter that we kind of put, you know, your banana peels, your onions, your peppers, all of the things you put in your compost, your waste, your paper plates, your newspapers, anything that was kind of living at one time can go in your compost. But it doesn't have everything that's needed. It doesn't have aerated material like cocoa coir to be able to hold moisture. And the compost is very dry. It's very brittle. You'll see that when you start to use it. A lot of times you're not supposed to grow directly in compost, but farmers do it all the time. So I want to see when you all plant these seeds in this compost directly, how fast it's going to germinate. So you can take your seeds and you can pour them in. You can pour some in your hand. I would say try to aim for about 6 seeds. So you can put 2 seeds on each side of each other. So 1 seed on one side of the tray after you put the soil in, 1 seed on the other. If you've already dumped all of your soil in, you kind of want to make a little indentation with your finger so that you can put the seed in the indentation and kind of cover the seed up with the soil. You got to make sure that the seed is actually covered with a little bit of soil. So you're just putting 1 seed down.
Is this the peppers you have?
That is it. And if you all remember, these peppers are totally experimental. The reason that we are experimenting with these peppers are because on the back of the package, you will see that these seeds have a date on them, and it says 2017. We're in 2021. These are old seeds. So we want to make sure, you know, they can still thrive. We don't know. So this is totally experimental. And then because we are growing just in compost, we're going to need some nutrients very fast for a few things that we've been growing. We grew thyme. Now it's getting ready to be time to fertilize the thyme. We grew collard greens. We can throw a little bit of vitamins or fertilizer on the collard greens. And the tomato, when the tomato sprouts and is ready to be transported or transplanted, which means that its 2 true leaves have come up. Those little leaves we see in the beginning are just the beginning stages. We need some more leaves to come up. Then we can add, you know, a little more vitamins to their situation. So there's a few ways you can do this. If you do not have a blender at home, you could use a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you could just use a baggie with something to beat up the ingredients we're about to talk about. So, as you all know, I always hold on to and save my eggs. So I have a lot of eggs right here. There's a whole dozen. and actually one that I didn't even crack yet. I forgot his little self. So I'm just gonna stick that over there. I will actually bury this and plant stuff on top of it another time. We'll all do that together at the Mark Cuban Basketball Center. Together, we'll plant with eggs in the ground. But there's a few things that you can do with your eggs, and one would be to use them for fertilizer. But you don't have to destroy them to use them for fertilizer. So let me grab some soil really fast. All righty, so I have some soil here, and one way that I can use these as fertilizer is to put some of the soil inside of the egg. So now I have soil eggs, and I'm gonna plant some of my pepper seeds in these eggs. But if I don't have this ability, if I don't want to plant this way, I could take some of my eggs and put them in my processor, and I could process them. I'm gonna add a little water, you know, it's kind of dry in there. I'm gonna slap this top on, and I'm just gonna see. Yeah. So we can do it this way. We can add this directly to the compost, or we can put some of this in the bottom of our pots. If we were going to plant something, it could go in the bottom of the pot. So that's one way. And then I could use it directly. It's kind of, you know, it sounds like ice. Another way, I'm gonna use this fertilizer on something, but put it on some of these plants while we have it. And then another way you can do it is to take some of the eggshells. I have some more eggshells that have already been in water. And these are some white eggshells. And I'm going to take some of these. They're kind of rinsed off. And I'm gonna put them in a baggie. And I'm gonna do something really cool. I'm gonna beat it up. Beat it up. I'm gonna roll it around, and I'm just gonna beat up these eggshells. So that's a way. So I also have eggshells all in here that are crushed up and can be used for air, to add air, but also nutrients. Eggshells have a lot of nutrients. They're almost like soft bone, you know, for the plants. Really, really love them. If your parents want, they could take these eggshells and put them in the oven on high and dehydrate them and beat them up. And that also will give you a powder. So whether you beat it up with, you know, a hard object, a hammer, or if you actually plant in them, or you put them in your compost, or you put them in the oven so you can make powder, this is the way that you can make a simple fertilizer or a vitamin for your plants to be able to eat. Do you have any questions, anybody? Did everybody plant already? Already plant your peppers? Whoop, whoop. Good job. Awesome. Do you have any plants that have germinated from last time?
No.
No, not yet. Have you been watering them every day?
Yes.
Watering? Okay, so what I want to offer this week, if nobody has had germination, let's link up and I can do a one-on-one video with you this week so that we can make sure that you can have something to plant when we go to the garden, okay? So I'm gonna get with Miss Trina and give you all a time, some times that we can log on and you can have a one-on-one and we can get you growing something. And if Miss Darcia needs to stop and get you any supplies or anything that you need, I want you to be 100% successful. You will grow. Everybody in this land can grow. So we just got to get you the right situation. I believe in you and I know you can do it. Okay. So what would you like to grow? If anybody wants to grow anything in particular, please type it in the chat, because I'm going to show you something I wanted to grow and it hasn't germinated yet, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So I have planted a few bananas, everybody. I went to the grocery store. I chopped up an older banana that I could see some of the seeds in, and I put it in here. So this is a very exciting experiment. I can't wait. I have 3 of these plants. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this is something that Miss Darcia wants to grow, and that is totally bananas. I see watermelon in the chat and oranges. I have yellow meat watermelons. Has anybody had yellow meat watermelons where the watermelon is yellow on the inside? All right, I see that you have. Well, I love the yellow ones, and I also love the different varieties of watermelons. We have watermelon seeds. I think we are supposed to plant watermelon seeds inside in like March. So I'm going to definitely get you those watermelon seeds. Somebody said grapes. I have access to muscadine grapes. So if you're interested in those muscadines, I'm going to go to Paul Quinn College and I'm going to take a few. I was going to say steal. I'm going to go take some of those vines. So we can try those too. And then somebody said oranges. Oranges and lemons and limes and even key limes can be grown here in Texas, and they can be grown in your window. People have been successful with gardens that have just a pot with one fruit tree in it. So if you're interested in those trees or that particular fruit, when you taste a orange that you really like, I want you to save those seeds. If you eat a watermelon that you really like, I want you to save those seeds. If you like the lemon or the key lime, save those seeds. Now, if you go to eat something and it don't got no seeds in it, I want you to be concerned, because seeds are the only thing that gives us life. And those are the great things that you can eat, that give life, meaning that they are able to give us the fruit tree. They're able, one seed can give us all of the pears. They can give us all of the watermelon. A cool fact about watermelon. We are going to grow watermelons, but I got to talk to Miss Trina to see where we can grow them, because they're so massive. And unlike other crops, watermelon just has one main root. Even though it has all of those melons and all of those tendrils, it only has one main root. And this root has to give all of the nutrients and all of the water to each of those watermelons. So that's a very difficult task for watermelon farmers. And so that's just something we got to pay attention to. Wherever we put that watermelon in the ground, it's going to have to be so nutrient dense. And we're going to have to come and use all kinds of fertilizers to make sure that those watermelons are going to be good and juicy and sweet for us in the summertime. So what other questions do you all have for me? I know you want to grow some things. I see somebody's trying to connect up here. Oh, are you using water bottles when you actually water? And when you water, are you sticking your finger in to make sure that the bottom is getting wet too? Is anybody measuring? You don't have to so much use your finger all the time. You can even use a stick, a spoon, a fork to see if the water is penetrating. Because sometimes we water and we're just watering on the top. Well, do you all know that the mouth of a plant, it's not the flower, of course. The mouth, how they eat, is the roots. So they drink through the straws of the roots. So the water that we are watering has to go all the way to the bottom so that the plant can suck up the water. Yes. Somebody has their hand raised. Yes.
How often do you have to water it?
So that depends on how much how much they're staying dry or how wet they're staying. Because when I water, my heat is on and I have a small heater over here too. So it stays really dry. So I come back and I say, oh, you know, in the afternoon. I say, I can pick this up and nothing is sticking on my fingers. So it's not wet. But if it was wet, let me show you what it's going to look like if it was 100% wet and I stick my hands on it. If I stick my hand on this part and it sticks on my finger, then this is moisture. But if it does not stick on my finger, then the plant is kind of dry. So you definitely want to make sure when you are spraying, you don't want to spray the actual plant, but you want to spray around the plant, the base of the plant. And I'm just steadily spraying. I don't want the plant to get wet at all because it's going to be too heavy. So I'm watering, and I also want to see a little water come down at the bottom. I want to see that it watered through. And you see, do you see it's dripping? So if the water has gone through, I know that the actual roots can drink it. So water until you see that it's dripping at the bottom, which is why you need a saucer or something to set it on so you won't ruin your floor, your couch, or your furniture. Miss Arcia has a tile floor. I do everything on my floor, so I usually just sweep up and mop. But you all, as children, don't have that capability all the time to clean up really good like your parents want you to. So just make sure you're mindful of when you use items that are going to, you know, be wet, that you don't ruin anything. All in all, so we talked about growing with our tomato. So I hope that you all go get a tomato. It doesn't even matter if it's, you know, old or new. Even the fruits and vegetables at the grocery store that are on sale, use those to experiment with. They're all soft looking, funny looking. You can use those. And then here we have our collard and our thyme, and both of these are doing fantastically. I'm going to take some of this fertilizer of these eggshells, and I'm going to put a little bit in the pot. I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. And I'm going to add some more soil on top. So I put me some eggs in there, eggshells in there. And then now I'm going to take some of my soil and I'm going to put it on top. So these are just some cool things to add nutrients. You know, because your plants can't get up and walk and go to the store and get no Cheetos. You know, they can't say, hey, mama, when you go to get some gas at the gas station, can you bring me back what I need? They can't say that. So we have to look at all of the evidence of what they need. All righty. So next week, I know I told you, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I'm so forgive me. I'm so sorry. We were supposed to use the magnifying glasses. Miss Trina got you all magnifying glasses so that we can do a little more experiments with the actual plants that we've been planting. So I will get you all materials. I'll meet up with your parents this week to get you the materials for the next 2 weeks, but we will definitely start exploring a lot more. We're going to start looking a lot more deeper into the things that we're doing. And if you all want to learn anything, we learn how to grow, but what about plants that don't need any, that are just air plants? And that's how they grow, because they just sit in the air. So we're going to grow with those here shortly, but we're going to do different things all the time to continue to grow. But if you have anything that you want to learn how to do, or you want to do with your family, you need an activity for just the family, please feel free to type it in the chat, and I will learn. I will make sure to learn what it is that you need. And it says that we are running out of time. We have probably about a little less than 10 minutes left. So with that said, can anybody go show me their plants? Awesome.
Tomatoes.
Awesome.
We have some very old tomatoes.
You had some very, very old tomatoes. Oop, oop, they did it. Yay. All right. So I guess I got it. Since we... Wow.
Now the covered in the green.
Say it again.
Now the covered in the green.
The bag.
Green.
We got some of the, hold on.
Uh-huh.
This is the,
I like your car.
this is,
Thanks.
You're welcome.
this was the thyme and collard greens together.
Uh-huh. Yay! We're at the same stage. And look at you. I see yours. What do you have right there in that black pot? That's the time? Woo!
Tyson's plan is struggling a bit. You know what I mean? We don't know how to bring it back to life.
Okay. By any chance, Mom, do you think it's packed too tight? By any chance, is it packed really, really tight? The soil, is it really solid?
It is.
Okay. I would say, just for experimental purposes on this particular situation, ask him to add just a little bit of peroxide and a little bit of water together and just put, just a little on there so we could try to get some air in there. Because sometimes when we plant, we pack them. How much, what side of the window, do you know what side of the house the window is on?
It's on the east side of the house.
Okay, so that is the best side. That is the best side.
It has foil at the bottom. And I know I have to take that.
Oh, his dad put foil at the bottom.
Oh, okay. So what I will tell you is, and this is just my personal, you might want to try to use a plate or something because foil is a metal, aluminum that you really don't want your plants to have access to. It's very similar to the cans of the canned soda. So it puts a lot of aluminum, a lot of, metals in us. It's one of the things that can transfer to us really, really fast.
Okay, we'll take it out right now.
Yeah. Just put a little saucer or, something like an egg crate at the bottom so that water can literally leave it.
Okay, we got it.
Awesome. No problem. And we can also do a one-on-one this week if you want to grow anything or regrow anything in particular. I'm totally open.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls across the world, I appreciate you. Oh, what is that? Is that a tomato?
It's the same Marzano.
Yeah, it's the same Marzano tomato.
Awesome. So is this, okay, what variety is that? I'm not familiar with that variety.
It's called San Marzano. It's from Italy somewhere.
Okay.
We had something at a restaurant, and that was the type of tomatoes they had, so we went and got some.
You just gave me an idea. Now you're going to have Miss Darcia at restaurants taking seeds. I'm going to go to some of these chefs.
Do you want to see my tractor?
I'd be at the Arboretum. I'd be at the place.
Yes.
Do you want to see my tractor?
I do want to see it. But yes, I go to other people's gardens. I go to their houses and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Can I have a piece of it? And I just take it and I go home and I start, using it. So you all can do that too. But the next time I go to a restaurant and they give me a salad and I got a cucumber and a tomato, I'm taking it and I'm going to go regrow it. And I'm going to take it back to the restaurant and show them. All right. Is that it, everybody? Y'all getting ready to show me something, Mr. Brad? No? Okay. All right, ladies. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much for participating, Darcia Houston, your favorite farmer, and you are my favorite gardeners. I hope to see you all next Saturday. And stay safe, everybody. Everybody give themselves a round of applause.